I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call meeting to order. We have approval of tonight's agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to new business, Wayne Township 2025-2026 project funding interlocal agreement.
So this interlocal agreement, as it's stated, if you've had a chance to go through all of it, it's your basic interagency interlocal between two units, home rule funds and Indian municipality political subdivision, interlocal agreement between Wayne Township, Stark County, Indiana, and the incorporated town of North Judson, Indiana. As was recently noted, Wayne Township approached Joe and I about funding that they needed to have allocated on their books between now and the end of 27, I believe is when we have time frame. This term, this 5-year term, goes to October 125 to December 31st, 2030, which is just normal consideration of time for an agreement like this. So purpose and contribution is the main section on page 1 and 2, section term number 3. They've allocated $100,000 for use by the town's fire department. I'll let them touch on that a little more. And the township contribute $140,000 for the up to $140,000 for the use of the town's Highland Cemetery. We've already gotten you documentation. Joe, if you want to talk about the fire and touch on your work on the cemetery side as well, that'd be great.
Yep, the fire department, they held a meeting last week. They decided with that $100,000, they're gonna refurbish the pumps and all the piping and gauges on truck 3. Get that back to where we need to get it. They've been talking for a long time about redoing the floors in the firehouse. They've got 2 quotes. They're gonna be redoing that. They're going to another item that was brought up to the council of a generator for the fire station. They're going to do that. And then we're going to purchase a set of airbags for extrication. And that will take up the whole $100,000. So perfect.
Very good.
Yeah. So fire department able to check off a lot of boxes that we talked about before. Improvements to trucks, improvements in equipment, improvements to the facilities, kind of covered it. We were able to check a lot of things.
That's good.
Those were great choices.
Yeah.
I was
With
just gonna say,
the generator, that was the.
Yeah.
They tried to get,
Yeah, that came out.
yeah, this worked out.
Yeah, it worked out perfect.
10 years, all of a sudden we need a generator.
Yeah.
which it makes total sense to lump that into this, given and it's, you know, the going for a truck and utilizing it. If you had grant dollars that you could quickly allocate,
Right.
that's one thing. But if you don't, and it's an 80-20 grant, that's gonna, you know, you're whatever you may find, you have to wait on that.
Yeah.
Truck stuff, it's gonna take years, rebuild and potential of, you know, what other departments may be cycling out of, like you said, 2011 to 2015 in the next 5 years.
Right.
Something that is an upgrade, but for us, it's not a $400,000 burden or up to a 700, 600, depending on what it is. But it does, it seems, I hope the guys were happy because this is like one of the
Oh, yeah,
things
they were-
that
they were-
never happened.
They were ecstatic. You know, one of the items, the floors in the firehouse, actually got a quote to get those painted, speckled, lined, and not only doing the bay floors, but the kitchen, the bathroom, but everything. And, you know, again, something we put a large investment into that facilities, and now to, you know, to continue to keep, you know, with the trucks that drip on it, start breaking up the floors, they're gonna come in, sand that concrete down, put an epoxy coating on it that, you know, I think it's got a 15-year warranty. So
Well,
yeah,
Very
so checked a lot of boxes there. And then the Highland Cemetery, we were able to get 2 quotes, one from Town and Country and one from Reeve Riley. And then we were able to get our quote, which was under $10,000 for Bob Lloyd, the survey work. And talking with Susie Woods, as soon as we get this signed, we get the quotes and she gets it approved. She spoke with the state. The state will start releasing funds middle of January of 2026. Now, we don't have to spend those funds up, but obviously we've already got the line items checked. We already know what we want. And the longer we prolong it, it's just going to be a longer time that potentially cost could go up. You know, we know how that goes. Hey, first year it's going up 3%. So speaking with Town and Country, as long as we get Susie saying she's completely confident that the money will be earmarked 1st of January, Town and Country is on the books to do the cemetery this fall.
fantastic.
So fingers crossed, we'll get that rolling, get that knocked out, and then, they're okay with waiting till payment till middle to the end of January.
So we also spoke, we met with Doug O'Donnell
Mhm.
and spoke with others in that field. And I spoke with Mike Barron today. And to him, it's all the same where he comes in, east-west roads are available and open for him to be able to enter through the same areas where he enters sections now. That'll all be the same availability. We're just adding a row or two depending on the size. But that'll be another discussion for what exactly, how we're able to, maybe around the center circle area, we're able to add in a row of cremains graves that are smaller and we could have them earmarked. The other one is now on our side for next year. I would love to add in, because we're not having to allocate dollars for the cemetery next year, I would love to put signage up. Section markers for this section is, a little post with a 90-degree post with section 1, section 2, section 3, and have them marked that way. We've had that asked, but it also gives us a key when you come into the cemetery, new information boards that have a map of the cemetery, where the sections are, and you can correspond that with where the markers are to find the graves you're looking for. If we can give somebody a section number, and it's not having to go out there and meet them and show it to them. It's easily, oh, well, here's the section. Can you read a map? Yep. Okay, here you go.
Yeah.
Makes it easier. Which we don't do a ton of that, but as we have more graves for sale, that's advertised, there's going to be more purchases, that kind of thing. So we're excited about that. And then the next step after that will be 27, 28, 29, remains graves, columbarium. And I feel like once we get over that hurdle, maybe 28, 29, that puts us in a good position to sustain us for 25 years.
And I know we even discussed with the columbarium stuff. Obviously, we know there's a need for more graves. We know there's a need for cremain graves, but the columbarium, we know some other cemeteries have put columbariums in, and this actually gives us a little time to research that over the next year and a half. How are they selling? As people come in here and are buying graves from Andrew, it also gives us opportunity, like, hey, if we had a columbarium grave, a grave site, would that be something of interest? And that
Would
way
you
we can
prefer that?
yeah,
to the
something
grave
we
up
can
front?
kind of gauge, and then that way we know, like, when we do a columbarium at some point, do we go big, or do we do something small that can be added on later, just to gauge that interest? Yeah,
Exactly. And I think the interest that's a great point, because I didn't think about that. When we're sitting down, we're both going to be cremated. We would just don't want, one of these graves, you can put 2 cremains in one 4-foot spot. Good. Then we inquire whether or not the columbarium is something that they would be more attracted to. And heck, we could tell them, hey, hold off. Within 2 years, we're going to have a columbarium up on the Senate, on the top hill, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like we're checking a lot of boxes here, and it's a great sort of
a
hurry
lot,
up.
a lot sooner than we thought of.
Yeah.
A lot
Stay
sooner.
real,
Yeah.
stay alive.
Hey, alive, we got columbariums coming. Yeah,
Hang in there.
right. Yep.
One thing I noticed reading this, section 3, part B, where it talks about the 140,000.
Yeah.
In the text, it says 135,000.
I was
Oh.
gonna say the same thing.
Yeah. Because
Oh, I sent you so you
That
guys
was the
sent the
original.
wrong one. Yeah.
Okay.
Don, what does yours say?
Where's it at?
Second page,
Part
top of
three,
the page.
Section B. Here.
Yeah.
Says 140.
Yeah,
Okay.
So I adjusted that.
No,
Thank
no,
you,
it
though.
says 135.
It says 135, but 140 in print.
Look at the text.
Oh, I gotta fix that.
Yeah.
I gotta fix.
I just
fixed
didn't want
the-
to, something to fall through or we lose $5,000 because of that.
Yeah, let me go fix that real quick, because it is,
Mark it out.
I changed the number. Let me just fix it. It's literally take 2 seconds.
Edit and print, yeah.
Yeah, so like you said, we're checking a lot of boxes that we thought were going to be put off 2, 3, 4 years potentially. So now with kind of wiping the slate clean over at the cemetery, signage is realistic next year, because that's not huge, not a huge cost. And then going forward, we've even talked the wrought iron fence. This is maybe something where we can look at to maybe in 2027, kind of get some quotes and go, all right, keep the archway to keep so many feet of the wrought iron, after that, have it redone, sandblasted in place and fixed, and then butted up to with our black chains and vinyl. What's the cost on that? And at that point, we can wash our hands at the cemetery, so to speak, and go, all the improvements, all the roads are repaved.
How many people was there an uproar over that down iron fence?
There's a few.
So I understand keeping the archway, and I understand maybe keeping a few sections after. But it makes sense to just
Go
a
with the
couple
vinyl.
sections, boom,
That's
just connect it exactly like it is.
Yeah, that was our original thought too, was just match
I don't know how
up,
that look, but you know.
match it up with the vinyl, what's the chain link vinyl that's out there now. But there was a few, that were very firm. They wanted to keep as much as they could. But at the same point, we had discussions, it was over a year and a half ago.
Yeah, where's the rubber meeting the road?
And we haven't had that where they're like, well, we'll pull sections out and we'll do it. And okay, well, here we are a year and a half later and nothing's been done. So at some point we've got to, we love to save it all too, but if it's not financially responsible to do it and only
Yeah.
save a certain.
I mean, it's only for aesthetics. That's all it is.
That's all it is.
And
So,
this
at the
is
end of the
a,
day,
this is a good time because we want to disclose, updates that we're working on now, this stuff with those members who are on our fence committee. They're almost like de facto a cemetery committee. You throw in Doug and, a few people that are the most active out there, and we're going to want to let them know, hey, this is what our plan is. We got the funding for it. So repaving all these roads, just discussing it with them because they're the ones who are out there, most talking people. At that time, Joe broached we just discussed it the other day as sort of like, where are we going to lean with this? Are you going to try to fix 8 sections? You put 4 on each side and we chain link the rest. So it gives us a good chance to update them on this stuff, but also where are we at with this?
I think
What's the
at the end of the day,
timeline?
we need to leave the least amount of mess in the future
I agree.
and just finish the project, because obviously it's not been done this far. Look, none of this stuff was ever done. So
Yeah.
they're not gonna do it for the next 40 years,
It was-
probably either. We're all gone.
Right, it was the same with the cattle fence that was on that east side of the cemetery. The utility, we had them remove it. And as soon as we removed it, we're like, oh my God, you guys pick up. You're like, you mean the old cattle fence that was falling down and had all the saplings?
Yes,
like,
growing vines.
yes.
I think if you made it aesthetically pleasing, you probably have a couple complaints, but there ain't gonna be nobody coming in here burning the door
No,
down.
I agree.
But at the end of the day,
And there's a lot of people who said, hey, this thing kind of looks like.
Yeah, it's looking well.
Period.
Yeah.
well, it doesn't like direction, right? We're putting in these roads, we're putting all these new fences.
Yeah.
The front entry looks great,
Yeah.
and then you got that.
Yeah.
It doesn't really match. So at the end of the day, we'll have to make that decision on when and how we do it.
Sure.
Like I said, it just means leaving the archways one set after that. Maybe that's right. Just to leave some nostalgia there that's cleaned up and organized.
With the regular gate that's there for passing, so the gate
Right.
stays, the old
Yeah.
one stays shut.
And actually, I thought of something. I haven't even talked to you about it yet. I go, man, if we could actually pull that archway and those big swinging gates and, get an iron worker in there to sandblast it, redo it, and actually move that archway to actually our entrance and put it over that. Going in with the Highland, going over there and all of a sudden like,
On the county road you're talking
Yeah.
about? Yeah.
or
The
even,
stone.
or even on the
brick.
awful and
The brick.
right off 10.
Yeah.
Do something
Because
like
I
that.
question how many people actually go past the iron, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
I mean, 90% of your people, I think, come
Where
off.
they're
Highway
coming off
10.
of Highway 10 or they're coming off of, the county road there.
So two, for aesthetic wise, you could take down, 2 or 4 of those pine trees on that south side and it would open that up. You would
Yeah.
see it much better.
Yeah.
If you remove a tree or two too. So.
Like it never existed.
But just some thoughts, and this is
Yeah.
something we can bring up with these folks that are on our fence committee and
Yep.
kind of like throw this out here.
Yep, absolutely. Refurbishes for sure on the top of our list as far as that goes.
I mean, overall, it's a nice blessing with the tax revenue changing and stuff. It's really
Exactly.
helping.
Timing wise, it helps to check the box that our RDC won't have to lean on either.
Yeah.
We need a motion on this.
Yes, to approve
Or make a motion to approve the
your local agreement.
interlocal agreement for the Wayne Township.
All in favor? Okay, moving on. We have the SEPA application that was a mystery last. Big.
Yeah, we had talked, and this communication has gotten to them of coming to the meeting tonight to speak with us about the dynamics of it. I haven't received anything.
I know Kara reached out phone by phone, actually spoke to them on the phone. And I told them that they needed to be here if they wanted it approved because the council had questions. And they said they would be here. So
Okay, they're not here.
here we are.
Yeah, approve that.
I've got one special event for,
Purple Centerfold.
so let me put no show on number 1. Yes, Purple Tent of Hope, October 11th. I've clarified with Kara that there is nothing else going on this day at Heartland, or sorry, Heartland at Norway Field. So if you guys approve and waive the fee, I can let Serena Case know that they would do their usual thing.
To say they've been set up a
Yeah.
few years straight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, just go out, play some music and.
I'll make a motion that we approve the special event permit for Purple Tent of Hope, and waive the fee.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, she's gonna give me
Very
a call
good.
tomorrow.
That all taken care of? Okay, nothing else here on this? Okay, move on to additional business seen necessary by the council. Let's go to Bigelow.
Nope.
On the banks?
No, not unless we were gonna discuss the name for that little road.
Oh,
I
yes.
don't know what he was over that way.
We could get,
Boulevard.
we'll get a resolution together and we could leave the name blank. Oh, yeah, I haven't thought about it, but if you guys will discuss the name idea.
I mean, we can, you wanna do that right now? That's fine. Yeah, sure. What's your ideas? You have an idea? You would have brought it up if you had an idea.
I have several.
I love it. Go ahead, shoot. Huh. I mean, that's what we want.
Okay, how about civic splash lane? There's the town, there's the library, there's the water, and there's Norway Fields.
Okay.
Civic splash lane,
Got it.
Splash Lane, that's kind of neat.
Heritage Waterway. Community Commons. Fountain Court or Fountainhead Square,
You going? I like this.
Municipal Drive,
Think that too. The police there, yeah, water department.
Station Way Square, or Liberty Circle, or Town Center Lane.
I like that one. Which one is it?
Municipal Drive,
Which one?
Yeah.
The last one?
Municipal drive.
Municipal.
yeah.
So what was the court one again?
What's that?
The Fountain Court?
The Fountain Court or Fountainhead Square?
Hey, now Josh is gonna tell you he likes Norway. Road.
No.
Come on.
No, I do like those last two. The ones I came up with was, Water Tower Place or.
That sounds like something with the Monopoly.
I
Yeah, I like it.
That's anything Norway Place or
Drive.
Court,
Yeah.
you know.
Norway Boulevard.
Norway Boulevard, yeah.
Boulevard.
Those were the two. Those were the two that I,
So
Norway and Water Tower, and whatever you want to follow.
We decided there's no one in the town we wanna put his name after. Ever. Like that, we don't wanna make that an option. I'm just throwing it out there. You guys already shot.
I think you leave it open.
You guys already shot my felt check way down. That's okay. I understand. I just wanna make sure that,
You know what, we can always do.
there is not a doctor or
Yeah.
a.
So I like the idea.
Wonder. I mean, there's not a lot,
I
I
like
just
the
wanna make sure
idea,
that you
yeah.
think about all that too, because we don't have to name streets very.
I like the idea of doing park elements with names on them. The dog park, you can do the trail, you could do Felchuck Trail and Felchuck Dog Park. you know, that-
Landmarks kind of thing.
Yeah.
Stick to that.
And I get the wonder thing, but if that family still had presence in the community, it
Are
would
you
make
saying
sense,
like
you
if we
know?
make two new baseball fields, we could make one Orger Field and Acres Field?
Acresfield, yeah,
Like
absolutely.
Orger and Acres Field.
Exactly, yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I tell you what,
That's
I
how
like,
different to it.
I like Water Tower Way myself.
The Water Tower one I like.
I mean,
Water
I
Tower.
thought that more, how can you miss that?
You know, Fountain Court was good, Municipal Drive was good, Water Tower Corridor Way, Norway, I mean,
If you say
Water
Water
Tower,
Tower, whatever, I know exactly what road you're talking.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, just kind of like municipality drives. Kind
Oh,
of
you've got,
Because you know everything. is
and,
down there.
and the bank is a municipal thing, but you've got the library, PD and the water
Yeah,
tower.
so
And that's the bulk of the drive there.
although people have kind of spelling that, so maybe we need to keep.
Municipal, I
Keep it a little simple.
Water Tower Way.
Water Tower Way is much easier.
Yeah.
No offense, I'm just saying, it would be municipal drive would be
Yeah,
difficult.
here's what we can do.
Is there anybody that's going to actually have an address on that street though?
Norway Field, because we had to have something delivered and it was a NIPSCO thing or it was a whoever thing. And I had to give them the cross street, but it's like 3 cross streets, Main, Schricker, Palmer. So it's like having, and honestly, if we put in. I don't think it would, there's not enough space there to really grow anything.
All right, we got some
Yeah.
ideas.
We'll put the resolution together and we can leave it blank and you'll write it in the night of the meeting once you guys come to a consensus.
I think they're all great.
And we'll.
I just thought,
I thought rather than naming it after pick an individual Indian.
Sure.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
that something was just, this
It's
is a little more neutral.
It's landmark
Yeah, no, I
road.
agree.
It's like a landmark road where you have a
Absolutely.
water
I
tower
just want,
or municipal.
we don't get to name streets. How many
No.
streets are you naming?
This would be a first.
Okay, so that means I haven't either. So.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure that we are paying homage if there is someone we are forgetting about.
Bring it to the meeting.
Because I thought
Yeah.
about that too, and yeah, I mean, there wasn't,
I like.
there's a lot of
like
people, but you know, how do you single it
There
down?
is,
to-
I know. How do you single down to one, right?
naming specific things, like you said, the dog park after a game, you know. The
Yeah,
walking trail potentially have something else, you know, everything the Orders and Acres have done with the park, you know, one of the baseball dimes, name of the.
Yeah.
I think those.
I
are-
actually thought about Rich Acres.
Yeah.
yeah.
Here, it went back to.
Yeah.
I mean, there is like Umpus Drive and things like that.
Yeah.
But see, the thing, but
Bent Road, like Bent Road was one that was named after.
that was, yeah.
Yeah.
And Elkis Drive, same thing. Blue Jay, I don't remember what Blue Jay was, but it wasn't always Blue Jay.
Campbell.
Gamble.
Campbell. Yeah, that's right.
But no, like, see, and that, but I thought about Uffkus Drive too, but there's nobody, nobody knows who he was. I
Right.
mean, you had to be my parents' age,
Dr.
probably you,
Yeah, I
maybe.
remember him. I remember Doc.
Yeah.
But I don't, he wasn't here when I was
No.
there. You know, yeah, Linda probably remembers him, but other than that, nobody else.
Scott, you remember Elkis?
I was just little.
I was gonna say, I think I felt like he was around when I was little.
Yeah, I liked it when I was.
I never Dalphon was.
Yeah.
Alphon was.
I remember that whole transition. It went from Doc to Doc.
Well, they got the rock wall for Dalphon.
Yeah, you got the rock wall for Doc.
Okay, so we can still think
Yeah,
about
but
it.
there's-
Linda, great job.
Yeah.
Overall, great. job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
really
was-
getting that spin.
Actually, that opened up a lot of
things.
Yeah.
Okay,
Very
so
cool.
moving on, Eric,
I don't have anything.
Josh. Josh, yes, you wanted to bring up the bus about Franklin.
No, I did not.
Well, we have to. So,
Okay, here we are.
you weren't here, we had the discussion prior, so.
No, I brought it up this time, bring it up next time.
No,
That's fine.
Right? We said we were going to.
Yeah.
We had a week to talk about it, so. Joe, you weren't here. We kind of had a little discussion between the three of us here before everybody got here. So the issue with the buses on Franklin. It's in violation of the ordinance. And in order for the bus to be parked there, that means we would have to change the ordinance. And we would have to be able to allow buses on all streets, I would say, in North Judson. I just don't know if that's.
Yeah, some of the streets that are a little bit tighter, you know, think of George Street, I guess, you know, if you had a bus on one side of George Street and the other, that could get tight over there.
Well, how about this? Has anybody up here thought of the pathway to being able to allow the buses to be built? That's the best question, right? The question isn't, we already know they're not supposed to be there. That's already part of the ordinance. But the real question is, has anybody thought of a way that they can be parked there? Or should be, or a change, or is that something that any of us here even would want? Would you want a bus parked on your street? Would you want a bus parked on your street? Would you want a bus parked on your street? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's the part I just want to make sure if somebody has a say on that. Joe, your thoughts? Any thoughts on that?
I didn't really give it a lot of thoughts as far as the buses. I do know we did get some more calls from some folks, besides the one original complaint. I think I received one, and I think Andrew or you received a different one. Separate one, from that area that they prefer not to have them there. And both folks said, it was nothing against, the wind bicklers or
Not at all.
they're like, we love these people. They're just like, we prefer not to have buses. And we just said, okay, we'll note it and we'll pass it along. So.
Scott, you think, you want to say, we can discuss this, we have some time, so.
It's just, they're providing a service for the community, hauling your kids back and forth to school. It isn't like they sit there all day long, and there's a reason why they can't get bus drivers. The reason why you can't get people to haul your kids. I mean, they're on there all the time looking for bus drivers.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Nobody wants to do it. You can't take a bus home. You can't park a bus here.
Right, yeah.
You know, it's like, but you turn around and
I don't
a
know.
Wreath and Riley truck pulls in with a trailer and they park on the street, you know. Different things like that all the time
I
too,
don't
you know.
know. I don't really know the exact in and out, so maybe Alex, maybe you can tell me the answer to this, if maybe Scott can. What's the normal routine for someone that lives in town or doesn't have a bus to take home? What is their, how do they handle that? Is it, they drive there in their personal vehicle, then park and then just get in the bus and they go from there? I mean, that's what I would assume.
Yeah,
right?
you can go to the bus garage. I mean,
I just wanted to make sure I understood that that's how it was supposed to, or that's how some people do.
Yeah.
Well, is, and the people in the country you're taking home usually parking on their property maybe, or
Yeah.
usually out. I mean, we see that when we're out driving around, obviously. I guess I've never really paid attention to bus drivers in town. It's never really been brought up, or it's never really.
How many bus drivers do we have? I know Dan Bright is one that lives in town. Who else?
Does he bring his bus?
Dan does not.
Okay.
So he just goes, picks it up and
He goes and picks it up.
goes and gets the kids.
Now, I will say, talking with the police officers, after the last council meeting about this, you know, we were, I don't want to say talking about buses, but we were. And, you know, the police officers did bring up, they go, you know, I don't want to say this is a new issue because it's really not. Because they said, you know, over the last few years, we've gotten, and it's not been about buses, but guys bringing home, their semis or even smaller, you know, like triaxle dump trucks that aren't necessarily a semi, but parking it. And they said, you know, we've had some complaints from some neighbors. We went over there. It's against the ordinance. We've made them move it. They actually said before the Dollar General was built over at Brant, you know, where Brantwood was, that they've given some of those drivers rides over there to drop off their trucks, drive them back.
Oh, the semis.
Yeah,
They used to
yeah.
park back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think that. I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, okay, so
Yeah.
this is something you guys have seen, not necessarily about a bus, but it's about the
Yeah,
larger
like
vehicle.
the guy who lives across from me, when he was driving over the road, he would bring his truck home, but he always put it in the driveway.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
really,
that's
I mean, he
legal.
did. Yeah, and that's legal.
That's
Yeah, I
legal.
mean, I never once since I was there did he have it on the street.
Right.
It was always, that might have been in the yard sometimes, but it was,
Well, but I think that's okay too. It was,
yeah, whatever you want to do. Yeah.
And that's why I say too, it's a shame there's not a open spot
Right,
right there.
right,
You be able to walk down the street and get in your bus, you know, at the end of Franklin, Sycamore and Railroad where it meets there, like. Pull off, where you could just walk down the street, off the street, you know, but yeah. There is.
That's where I mean,
Eric, what do you think?
I definitely sympathize with. Yeah, and it is a convenience. I know there's, you know, they have their own kids and stuff. I totally get it, but my hang up is the fact that we'd have to change the ordinance. And I think that getting into that, it creates such a slippery slope, and especially with this, how much Frank and the police crew has put in enforcing codes and different things and chasing things down. And yes, we got a lot of things we got to do, but we're making an effort at it. I just think it would create, it could create us some issues. And I would be a favor of changing the ordinance, is my issue. So.
So you're in course, you're in favor of enforcing that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be in favor of changing the ordinance.
How about you, Linda?
I would want to. Because like on Sycamore where I'm at, it's hard to even find a place there. So if there's a bus in the way, how are you gonna, you know what I mean? The traffic at some roads are really tight, like you said, George Street. So it'd be really unfortunately, that is a nice wide street, but still, because on another street, a tight street. I don't want to change the ordinance.
Yeah, I think that, and I think exactly what you're saying is, without saying that you're, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't want to put words in your mouth. What you're saying is, I don't want to tell Susie she can take her bus home. Then I got to tell Timmy he can't take his because his road's not wide enough or it's not big enough, right? You want to make sure if it's good for one, it's good for all. And we don't know if that's the case, if that's, if that's okay or not. Right. Okay.
Is there an old, I mean, I know, you know, this was.
well, I just park mine in the driveway, but I'm gonna move all my cars in the street, so I'll bottleneck the street. It don't make no difference to me. Then people's gonna bitch, cause I'll bring trailers home and everything else down in my pickup. I don't care.
If there's an
It's
alternative.
like, you know, I back my stuff in my drive now, you know. I go to sale barn and stuff like that, you know, barn back my stuff.
There's a lot of room on the street. He showed you a picture.
Oh, there's tons of room, so there's no reason, you know.
Park, well, yeah, do it, not in violation, do whatever you gotta do, yeah, we don't care.
But, well, the complaint is the buses are on the street taking up the space.
Yeah, the buses, I think
Yeah.
compared to yours, it's 10 over
I got a 20 foot
10,000.
trailer and everything else, it's as long as that.
Two buses are wide.
Well,
I didn't write the ordinance,
You're
nor,
still, you know, the width.
nor did I, nor am I
Yeah.
engineer, so
Yeah.
I just know that's what it says, and I can interpret that.
Yeah.
And if you're allowed to do that, yeah, yes, I guess the ordinance do it. So is there a spot where you guys are gonna go park in the back, like was stated the first time Joe and I had this conversation? Is that what you guys will do?
I mean, we could, Kylie did a couple nights ago. I mean, it's a tight fit. You're not gonna be able to during winter, which is actually when it's kind of the most convenient to be able to park there.
Warm up or the bus.
And yeah, I mean, I just got my garage tore down because I want to make something of my backyard. So
I understand.
having a bus in it isn't really gonna.
Ain't
make
gonna
that-
make no back.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so I
So,
mean,
you
it
can-
could for randomly here, but I mean, long term, I mean, yeah, I'm sure she's just gonna have to park it out.
I know this affects you and your family, so you wanna give us your thoughts on the whole situation here in the meeting? I mean, there's no wrong answers. If you want
No, I'm
to
good.
talk to us about something, or is there something how you feel, then please let us know, because
I mean, sounds like we're not changing it. So I mean, that's
you
We'll move it.
understand, you understand what we're saying. I mean, you don't have to agree with it, but you understand everything we've.
Yeah.
I understand how it affects you. It affects you in your life. I get it. So,
We have to take into consideration winter and snow plows and that kind of thing too.
that was, someone brought that up, maybe me and I think Andrew, when Andrew called me this week, that was one of the people that had called him, had stated, we're concerned with snowplows, but the snowplow went through, if they come through before school bus leaves.
You don't want to block a school bus in either, because you, like you're saying, they're calling for really rough winter this year, and if there's a lot of piling, then how you gonna get that bus out?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, anybody else have anything else to want to discuss? So, we want to make a motion that what direction we're going here, so we know that.
I mean, do we have?
I think we're all in consensus,
Yeah,
that
I
we're
mean-
gonna enforce the ordinance, that's all, just that
To enforce this ordinance, we better start enforcing the rest of them instead of letting stuff slide.
so I think we've started to do that.
Cause I got enough junk around my place on the back side of me and the front side of me. I
Yeah.
want stuff cleaned up. I don't want
I
to
think
book
we've
from
done,
now or this or that. We're gonna enforce
Every
ordinance.
year.
Let's enforce ordinance. That's
We
what we're gonna do.
I think we've done a really good job.
Yeah,
Well, the house behind me still full of junk all summer. Been like that for 6 months now. You know.
And you
one
gotta
next door
remember,
to
there's
me
only
is
so
got
much,
no
so much
two
we can
seals.
do, we can, again, we can write
Exactly,
it,
you know, but
we
it's like, it's an ordinance.
you're exactly right.
If
And
we
when
do an
our
ordinance, let's do an
cops go over there and they write a ticket and then they don't get paid and then we turn it, there's only so much. We can't go over there and physically move it.
Overnight.
That's the problem. And I mean, and we're actually dealing with some of that stuff with some of these structures and buildings that it's a process.
Years,
So.
a year or 2 years, something.
Yeah.
or 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely, I mean, these.
So Joe, you can let Frank know that that he can
Okay.
let the drivers know that gonna stick with our ordinance.
No.
Take care of that parking, that's what I believe. I don't think you need to vote right yet, after we think about it. Just that we're all the same. That's the way. Yeah, right? Yeah. Okay, I don't have any additional business deemed necessary than that.
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, we already gotta get it moved out.
That would be a free question. Yeah.
$40 something.
Look at that timing.